Welcome, welcome, welcome to another fire episode of the Minding My Creative Business podcast. That is the Minding My Creative Business podcast, the #1 podcast for creative entrepreneurs to gain strategy, structure, and self-development all in one place. I am your host, ShySpeaks.
And I am your host, Ron Ironically. And we have a great episode for you today, right?
Yeah.
We're going to approach this a little different. Well, we've somewhat did something similar before, right?
Yes.
But yeah, this is, once again, we're season 3.
Season 3.
So we wanted to do another case study episode, right? Where we're sharing with you all 2 creative entrepreneurs that have, done some things in the creative space successfully, of course, right? But the topic that we want to address is creativity versus commerce.
Right? Commerce
Right.
versus creativity.
Right. How can you sell out without selling out?
He said, how can you sell out without selling out? I love it. I love it. Okay, so I know that that's important because a lot of creatives, we're talking about creative entrepreneurship, and if they're getting started or have already started and it's time for them to shift their pricing model or add another product line, they struggle with it because they feel like if I keep focusing on the business so much, it's going to take me away from the creativity.
Yes.
And if it takes me away from the creativity, then it's not going to be authentic and it's not going to be, and they start coming up with all these different things because ultimately what's happening is there's a versus for them, and that's creativity versus commerce.
Right.
And so what we believe is that there is a way to actually sell out of the product that you have or the service that you're offering or the event ticket seats that you have on display. There's a way to sell out and be fully into commerce without compromising creativity. And we want to introduce you to 2 people who like the last time we did this, we introduced you to 2 people. Those 2 people were late, right? They had already transitioned. We introduced you guys to Steve Jobs and Walt Disney as creative entrepreneurs.
Right.
I know you just know them as names, but they are creatives, entrepreneurs, okay? But this time we have 2 contemporaries, right?
Correct. So we want to introduce you to LaRussell, right? If anybody knows, he is an independent recording artist in the state of California, from Oakland, California to be exact. And then we have Pinky Cole, the owner and operator of Slutty Vegan.
Which is a restaurant.
Which is a restaurant, started off in Atlanta and whatnot, but we'll get off into that. But,
right. Now, let's be clear, Pinky Cole and LaRussell, we would love to have you right here on the Minding My Creative Business podcast. If you know them, tag them. But in the meantime, in between time, when we bring them on here, we're gonna unpack so much behind the brand.
Yeah.
But we want to just talk about how they have maintained creativity without compromising commerce, how they've leaned into commerce without compromising. You see, and I think that there are 2 perfect creatives from 2 different industries: the American restaurateur and American label, creative agency, event curator owner that LaRussell is, right? So 2 totally different creatives. So let's dive in. So, like you were mentioning earlier, right? That whole versus thing where it's like, okay, I want to be authentically me without having to sell my soul or sell out to make commerce, but understanding the importance of I need to make money, right? But I don't want to do that. So when I think about LaRussell, right, he's definitely one of those people where I've seen that take place, right? Where he's screaming independence, right? And anybody know when somebody's saying they're independent, they're not saying that they're doing everything themselves. Right.
They don't have any help, any support. What they're saying is they're working independent from a record label where the record label is signing them to a deal or a contract, right? And yeah, the label is doing, the things and giving you a percentage and you gotta recoup and all these other things,
Right.
He's saying that I've done this on my own where I don't have that support, though I do have support. But he's been able to do that and keep the integrity of what he's done. So if anybody knows him, and you can once again look him up, he kind of he had his viral moment during the pandemic, right? He was doing this thing out of Oakland. He saw an opportunity to do these concerts in his backyard. Right. So he started doing concerts in his backyard, growing his fan base like that, posting it online, videos going viral. So now it's not just limited to Oakland, right? But they started there.
Right.
Right. He was able to start locally because of the internet. Then he was able to get some national and now international notoriety from that.
Wow. He started at home for real.
It's for real, right?
Most people we bring on the podcast, they'll tell you, especially if they have a product that they were moving, they may have started in their home and then eventually they went on to something else. But he literally started at home and open, but literally at home.
Right.
Like he had this thing on the backyard called the pergola, right? And so he would be rapping, and he made sure that he had videographers that came and they captured him rapping and doing a concert. And it's not like this no packed out stadium, but it's like it looks full because it's a smaller backyard and it's full of people. But he was rapping in his own way. He wasn't trying to rap like what the current trends are. That's creativity, right? Kind of acting like you're not from Atlanta, you don't need auto-tune. He was rapping his regular voice and his regular style, his own lyrical banter, and it was conscious, so to speak. And so ultimately, yeah, he was able to like start at home and keep the creativity because he was doing it at home. He is independent, as you would say, independent as in no major distribution, because you have independent filmmakers, you have independent everything or a creative space, right? Where you don't have a major handling all your business. You're handling your business yourself. And because you're handling your business yourself and you're not answering to the major, you have the ability to decide how things are going to go.
Right.
The major may decide to put you on the road with somebody that's going to cost you a certain amount of money, but he says, I don't have to go on the road. I can do it right here, and I'm going to record and I'm going to film it and I'm going to put it online. Videos. And he fed social media so much that social media fed it to us. And that's how Ron, who lives in Detroit, and me, who live in Dallas, we both sing LaRussell.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And he did it his own creative way. And then the commerce is popping because guess what? If there is somebody who's like Ron, who lives in Detroit, but who's a event planner and a promoter, they could have booked him.
Exactly.
I live in Dallas. I'm an event curator. I will probably book him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
definitely.
so that's what I'm saying. How his creativity and doing it his way transitioned into possibly more money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And even that, like, if he was a part of a label, they probably would encourage him not to do it in your backyard, not to do it at your house. We need to go to these other things. But in doing it in his backyard, there was a genuineness, authentic. You know what I'm saying? There was this like, quaint. There was something about him once again that developed that know, like, and trust. And even in his music, if you listen to his music, it's very. I'm showing you who I am through my music, and people gravitated towards that. Right.
And they actually enjoyed the less, or what you say, manufactured that the majors does. It was less manufactured, it was more organic and
like a home cooked meal almost. You know what I'm saying? So he was able to take his home cooked meal brand and make this something global. Right. Without processing it. You know what I'm saying?
Processing it through the manufacturing of a major situation.
Exactly.
Major. But in doing that, it has become major, and he has moved from not, like, we're not just talking to y'all about somebody who's just a rapper.
Right.
He owns a company called Good Company. Good Company.
Good Company with P-E-N-N-Y. Yeah.
So tell us about Good Company and how he's even able to keep creativity and still transact commerce even in that company aspect.
Yeah. Like I said, so I love the fact, so he did this choose what you pay model, right? With his company and brand. So that's like, okay, I'm doing music, I'm performing, but now I want to put my music on, I want to put it out there to the world, so that on these different platforms, so where you can now download my music and have it to listen to at your leisure or whatever. But on his own platform, he was like, listen, I'm going to give it to where now you choose what you pay. I'm not going to give you the standard $9.99. Or I'm not going to give you the $19.99 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let you choose. Right. So in him doing that, he was able to take something like 2,000 people that purchased it and made $70,000. So think about it. You got 2,000 people. So normally, if they're buying an album, $10 a wop, that's $20,000. So he took what would have normally been $20,000 and turned it to $70,000 because he allowed for them to choose what they was going to pay.
Wow.
So he removed that cap. And like I said, I mean, just in doing that, once again, I'm doing my music the way I want to do my music. I'm distributing it the way I want to distribute it, right? So now it's not tainted. So though I'm selling out, I'm not selling out. I'm able to keep my authenticity. I'm able to stay me, LaRussell, in how I create. I'm even staying me in how I distribute it.
Right.
I'm even staying me in how I perform it because I'm performing it in my backyard.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it how I want to do it. So I don't know. To me, that sounds like him keeping his genuine self and not succumbing to, well, no, you should do it this way. You got to do it that way. It's like, no, I'm gonna do it this way.
Yeah.
And I got proof of concept because now I didn't sold. For y'all to make 70,000, you got to sell 7,000. I've made 70,000, only selling 2,000.
Right. So it was like really all about the creativity and the impact, but it still wound up generating a lot of funds. He's still transacting business. This isn't a different and a unique and a creative way. And then there's even another aspect to Good Company where he works with other artists.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about that model and how there's even creativity with that.
Yeah.
But yet still business there.
It's the same. It's like he's signing artists to his label to allow them to be themselves, right? Where it's like you got complete ownership. See, normally in a record situation, right, the record label owns the masters, right? It is my music, though you created it, right? But I own it.
Yeah. For
a period of time, and then you can buy your masters, or you can, they come back to you. But he's like, no, I'm giving you complete ownership. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm providing the platform, right? I'm giving guidance, direction, and whatnot. I'm setting you up how I pretty much set myself up, which is like duplicating yourself, right? But you have complete control. I'm not coming in and telling you, oh, you should do it like this or do it like that. No, I'm coming to you because I like what you're doing. Right. And that's normally how it is, right? That's how it should be. It's like, I'm coming to you. I want to sign you because I like what you do. But the labels normally is like, no, I like that I can market you. Right. I like that I can brand you, but I need to come in and now shape you and mold you into what I want you to be. You know what I'm saying? So now you're losing that authenticity. So though you may be selling out, but in that case, sometimes you may have sold out.
You may have sold out. Now, for y'all who are watching, it's like, I mean, how do you know if they're really selling out? That's the question that we were asked. How do you know if somebody is really selling out? Well, first of all, Ron was stating that you feel like they're selling out because they know internally.
Internally,
you know, like,
you already know. Yeah. You know who you are. Yeah. And some people do, for the most part. Some people do, not everybody. Yeah. But you know who you are, and you know what core values and things that you have, and you know if you're doing something to compromise that for the sake of $1. Right. Right.
But I was saying that it's not just you as the person, we know, especially those of us who were tapped into whoever you are, whatever your creative business endeavor was or is, and you say that we're all about, let's say your creative business is all about clothing and fashion. And what you do is you make sure that the different pieces that you have remaining over after you sew and do everything, you intentionally make gowns for young girls who are less privileged and da-da-da-da. So we know what you're about. You want to make sure you're giving back to the less fortunate, keeping them in style, da-da-da. But if you get to this point where you just don't have anything to offer anybody that's less than $1,000, right. It's like, well, what about them? They're not going to be able to afford that. And it don't matter to you because you're so busy trying to sell out of product and make a lot of money that you've gotten away from that give back that you said you were about.
Yeah.
That's just one example on the creativity. Another creativity could be like, I don't know if this is the case, but for example, since we're talking about a rapper, right. Toby Nwigwe. Most people know of him. He kind of blew up online on social media as well. Right. And everybody knows he's married to Fat. If you know him, Fat is his wife. Right. That's what he called her. And then he got his little kids and baby Fat and all the rest of the babies. And in his artistry and his creativity, he shares the fact that he enjoys music and growing in relationship with her when they was just dating to engaged to now they have kids. So he's into traditional family, husband and being a good husband and having a good wife and raising children and the beauty of that. And if he then starts opting into another anti-traditional family, he's promoting something that's anti-traditional family, ultimately he's selling out for the money. Like they say, hey, we'll give you this much money in order to talk about how, the family, who needs that? That doesn't go with him. We see that. It's very obvious that that's what you're on. And you talk about that and you want your wife, you respect your wife, you'll fade somebody for your wife and all that kind of stuff. Right. And then it's all of a sudden, if you start talking about stuff that's anti-husband.
Right.
Forget traditional family values.
Right.
You would just be just anti like the husband protector, the provider, and all that kind of stuff that you're talking about. Where it's like, women, I don't gotta.
What happened?
What happened?
Right. Who did sponsor something and gave some money? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Something took place.
Right. Something made you sell out. And so that's the big dollar amount that you're trying to get so that you can sell out. And what we want creators to understand is not every big dollar amount is on the other side of some kind of sellout. You can be authentically yourself and still be making money. He doesn't need to do that right now. So because he's making money as is. He's like he's in fashion world because that's something that he's clearly into. He's a part of that world. New York Fashion Week. He's a part of, just being his authentic self with his family and flaunting that around.
Yeah.
He's able to make it. So you can still do it. So all right. So back to LaRussell, right? LaRussell has this good company. He invites them to be on the like label and partnership. You just benefit from the structure that he has.
Right.
Now, part of that structure is that he created this kind of like stock situation.
Right.
Right. That's something different too.
Right.
Where people or fans can, instead of just buying one album and then you buy another album, then you buy another album, he has it to where you can like buy stock in the business, so to speak. It's like stock in a sense. It's like ownership, or you can become an investor in the company. So he took, let's say 100% of a company, and let's say he values his company at 100 million or whatever.
Right.
And he decided that each percentage is 1 million. 1% is 1 million, then that means you'd have to invest $1 million in order to own 1% of the company. I'm just giving you an example.
Right.
So I'm not saying that's what he did, and I don't know what the valuation of the company is, but he some kind of way created shares where people can buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can buy shares of the pie, and as he makes money, he has it's different than crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Crowdfunding he pretty much is crowdfunding, but for the entire company and not just for one project, like one. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like crowdfunding is for one project. Mm-hmm. He basically saying, and that's just, you just gave money. You don't necessarily get financials in return. Most of the time you get your name in the credits. Right. You'll get maybe some shirts, some swag, be at the concert. You get something, but he's actually offering you a continued ownership in the company. Yeah. Like
that's genius.
Of his splits. Like you're getting a certain amount of. So he realized, like, I'm willing to give this to these people if they're willing to invest in me. It's super genius. It's a whole creative approach to it.
Because once again, it's going back to, because I want to stay authentically me.
Yeah.
I know that if I do go to these entities, they're going to want me to compromise or bend some way, shape, or fashion. It may not even be anything major. It could be something small. But the fact that they're going to do that, no, I want to stay authentically me. So what can I do now by giving your fans a piece of ownership, right? So now they're on that journey with you. They're more vested because now they have ownership.
Right.
They're going to help promote and market it even more because they have ownership. Right. And they rocking with you already because once again, that no like and no factor, no like and trust, right? No like and trust factor. You've developed that. Now they trust in you even more because you done gave me ownership into your company.
Wow.
So now it's like you create them, we call them super fans.
They super duper. You know those are super duper fans at that point.
And now I don't gotta compromise myself now.
Right.
Now I'm going to grow and develop along the way, but once again, y'all gonna grow and develop with me. Right. So y'all on this journey with me, and I can continue to be me. Right. And I can continue to create how I can create because y'all already let me know that y'all like what I do, how I do it.
Right.
So I ain't gotta.
Right.
That's it.
So that is someone who is so committed to maintaining creativity that he worked into his commerce model the ability for other people to share in his success so that he can maintain creativity. Like he's so committed to that. And I'm saying that you may not do that. And that may not be possible for your creative business. I'm not sure if you make sunglasses. I'm not sure if you make you do something in culinary, which we're gonna get to that here in a moment with the next person we're gonna be talking about. But whatever it is you do, there's a way that you can approach it creatively to say, I want to always have creative control and I don't want to sell out. Yeah. And you can think about your business model and you can think about ways to make it such that this system keeps me honest.
Yeah.
and I get to continue to make money. So that you have to figure out what that looks like for you. We're showing you the case study of LaRussell because we see how he applied it to music and the business of music, right? Yeah. And he has a nonprofit organization, you know, good company, and how he structures all that and put people on staff and so forth and so on. Yeah. So it's a very unique approach. You can have a unique approach as well.
That's it. And that's all we're saying.
That's all we're saying. We're saying in order for you, if you're worried about being too into the business part, that you compromise the creativity, we're saying tap into your creativity to figure out a way to make yourself stay true to it. So I'm going to structure my business in such a way that it makes me money and it continues to allow me to keep the creativity at the forefront. I believe you're creative enough to do that.
Yeah. And I like that because your creativity is not just limited to your art. Bring your creativity in how you run and manage and create and operate your business.
Say that apart again for them.
Your creativity is not just limited to your art. You need to bring that creativity in how you run, operate, manage, and develop your business.
Want to know the one thing that's holding most creative entrepreneurs back? It's not the talent. It's not even the vision. It's the lack of capital. Every day I watch brilliant creatives miss life-changing opportunities simply because they can't access business funding. Traditional banks, they really don't understand creative business like that. And most lenders, well, they don't care. But guess what? That ends today with the Minding My Creative Business partnership with Credit Savant. You can access up to $150,000 in business credit. You heard correct. Up to $150,000 in business credit. They have 0% interest options with 30+ funding programs designed for creatives just like you. So what I need you to do is visit creditsavant.io now. Tell them MMCB sent you.
This is why I wanted to do the Minding My Creative Business podcast, because I believe that creatives are the best business owners and company innovators. They're the best innovators. And because of that innovation, they're the best entrepreneurs.
I agree.
Right? But oftentimes people see creatives as artists, starving artists.
Right.
And it's a lot of them who are so into the creativity that they're starving the business. But if you take that same creativity into how you're making whatever that product or service is, and you put that creativity into how you run and operate your business, the way he just said, I'm using that same innovation, you then create some of the best, most profitable companies ever known to man, going back to the Steve Jobs and
Disney.
Walt Disney.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm not just Walt Disney, I'm just doing it to character development and script writing. I'm putting this creativity into how I operate the business in and of itself, which creates entirely different and new business structures, which is what's happening or has happened with LaRussell.
Right.
He put that same creativity into how he runs his business, created an entirely innovative, disruptive thing in the music business.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what creatives can do.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so speaking of disruption,
right.
Come on.
Let's go to this next guest, right? Who, different industry, but we see that same disruption and just her showing up as her authentic self, right? So Pinky Cole, the owner and operator of Slutty Vegan.
Come on. Just in and of itself, you see how disruptive she is in the name, Slutty Vegan.
Right.
Now, oftentimes when people think about vegan, they think about kosher, they think about prim and proper. One of my friends, she says like, oh, I like hanging out with them, but the food is always so crunchy. When she said crunchy, like crunchy salad, granolas, and just all this kind of, she said, they're just real crunchy, you know? And so I was like, what is crunchy, you know? She's like, I'm not crunchy for them, you know?
That's
so
funny.
Ultimately, that's what people think of. They think of this certain, kind of like in the lines approach on health and just very strict and restrictive.
Yeah.
But she called it Slutty Vegan. So basically she lets you know this is gonna be junk food, right? This is junk food for vegans.
Right.
And what's the best junk food?
Right.
A burger.
Right. Right.
A burger. And so she created a burger company
Right.
and called it Slutty Vegan and leaned so heavily into the brand that almost, it could run people off.
Yeah.
Like, because it could almost be, it's so tasty, but it could almost be distasteful depending on where you stand morally.
No, listen, I have not been to a Slutty Vegan restaurant because of some of the titles of them. I'm like, I just,
It's just too,
you know, I'm one of them, I guess I'm one of them wholesome.
yeah, you know, wholesome type, because it's very provocative.
Yeah.
It's so provocative that it's even in her branding. Like she got the red, right, as far as the, but it's a certain type of red, that passionate type of red, like that red candy apple red that make you want to just, you know.
Right, the forbidden.
That forbidden fruit type of red. And she has the all the names of all the product. All the burgers have a sexual connotation to them.
Right.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to even say sexual.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, the innuendos, the double entendres, or however, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All of them have some type of, let's say, intimate or some type of provocatively sensual connotation to them. Like it's okay. You can look it up on your spare time. But if you haven't heard of Slutty Vegan, you will. But there are some people who I've heard of it, but I haven't eaten it. Not because I'm wholesome, but because it's just not available to everybody just yet. And that's something that they're working on. But I'm gonna talk to you about how they're even transacting the commerce in that and keeping the creativity. The reason, and I'm like Ron, I'm like kind of more of the wholesome type as well, but I love how intentional she was being, because she said, this is a part of who I am. I'm kind of provocative, I'm kind of I'm kind of edgy. And so she leaned into the edginess and put the edginess into the creativity, not just in the name, the name of all the foods, the entire experience. When you walk in, if you are, you know, oh, what do you want to have today? And you're looking at the menu, and they're like, this is your first time being here? And they're like, yeah, we have a virgin. Everybody say, oh, welcome to, you know, and so it's like a big deal. The whole kitchen says, it's basically, you're a newbie, right? And so all of that is intentionally leaning into, how can I make vegan food be, you know, junky and fun, and, you know, and that's what it's about. And so I love the fact that she leaned into it. That's
and even you, I didn't put that together that, okay, I knew it was vegan, you know, fast food or junk food or whatever, but not knowing that, okay, I'm calling it vegan, slutty vegan, because slutty is associated with trash or junk, right? And this is vegan junk food, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even put that together until just now. So now I was like, okay, well, I'll go on in there then. Even though, like I said, you know, I know some of the titles, you know.
Right? And so, but that's leaning into the creativity. And here's the thing, because it's kind of edgy, there are certain people who it may run investors off. It may run consumers off. But she says, look, I'm going to make it's fun though. And so a little bit about her, she is the ultimate creative, right? So she is, went to school, left school, moved to LA to pursue a career in acting. And then after pursuing a career in acting in LA, she moved to New York to do some production in TV, in the TV world. But while she was really there, her real goal was to create a Jamaican restaurant. Right. And so she grew up Jamaican. Her mom was a vegetarian. So eventually she embraced the vegetarian life as well, and then she went on to embrace the vegan life. But she knows Jamaican food and making Jamaican cuisine, so she did eventually open that. But ultimately, that one didn't last long because there was a fire of some sort, and it failed. But listen, she came back. And this time she came, I'm coming back vegan, and I'm gonna make it an oxymoron. And that's my creativity. And I'm gonna lean into the oxymoron, but I'm gonna make it fun. People will know, it's like lighten up, it's a joke, you know, type of thing.
And even that, to talk about the fact that she birthed it or created it based off of a need. And I know that's not where we're going into this, but still, but that's part of commerce and part of being an entrepreneur and a successful one is finding somebody in the market, finding a need for it, right? She was up late night one night and was like, I got a taste for a burger. You know what I'm saying? I want a burger, but it was no vegan burgers that she can go and get a burger. So she made it herself.
Right. Which let me be clear, for some people are like, I don't like vegan food. There's junk food and there's no vegan burger. To even be able to take a plant and make a plant taste similar to what somebody would experience from a meat,
Yeah.
that's creativity.
That's definitely creativity.
That's extreme creative. Like, man, I made this so well
Right.
that it's like, it tastes, most of the time it's like, well, I like vegan food, but it don't taste great. No, I made this taste great. And at the end of the day, it's a plant. Like, to be able to take, that's like, some of the best creators are able to take like recyclable goods and turn them into new products. That's creativity. So you're taking a plant and you're making it taste like something, you're presenting it and making it healthy. Let's highlight the creativity right there first and foremost. But then the business of the matter is, it's not just a cool brand, it's how she approached it this time. She didn't go straight into a brick and mortar store.
Right.
She went to a ghost kitchen, or what you would say a shared kitchen. Okay, and because I need to keep my overhead low, I don't want to hop right into a brick and mortar store.
Right.
And she started selling it through an app, because there's not just her, but there are other people, because as we have the rise of people who will want to have healthier cuisines, you have to offer them things like that. But then also they want to have junk food as well.
Correct.
So she offers them this in this creative way, which is even having a shared kitchen and a ghost kitchen and all that is creativity.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Somebody came up with the concept that we can all, different restaurateurs and culinary artists can share this kitchen and sell our food online and people pick it up. That's already creativity.
Right.
Creativity, that's commerce, that's transacting. You're not selling out because you're keeping your overhead low, right?
Exactly.
So she did that. And then eventually she then moved to the food truck model, right, in Atlanta. And she had one food truck, then it was multiple food trucks in Atlanta, right? And then after that, she opened up her first brick and mortar store, right? And in this brick and mortar store, you got to realize that you don't get to brick and mortar if you're someone like her who already knows what it takes to run a brick and mortar, if you're not successfully running the food truck. I know this food trucks was successful because when I would be in Atlanta, my friends like, you ever been to Slutty Vegan? Let's go to Slutty Vegan. And I would go to Slutty Vegan and the line would be wrapped around the corner. You just standing in line waiting at this food truck trying to get this food. That's a lot of sales.
Yeah. And listen, one of the things that she did as a result, once again, that's why social media is key, right? As a creativepreneur, and I know we don't want to post, I get it, but it allowed for her to go viral. It allowed for her to now be recognized and seen in other parts of the nation, and where she was doing pop-up shops. Like, I remember she came to Detroit, like people were excited. They was like, yo, Slutty Vegan, they got a pop-up shop here. And I know she sold out. I think she had to post and say something like, yo, we out of food. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we love the support, thank y'all, but we out of food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she was able, once again, she didn't compromise, she didn't rename it or rebrand it. She said, no, we leaning into this. This is who I am. Unapologetically, this is what we doing. And as a result, like you said, was able to grow one shop, doing pop-up shops
around the nation.
Around the nation, right? They were, because I know they did one in Detroit. I know it had a tour. I ain't never heard
of a restaurant
doing a tour.
One on a tour. And I love what you said. And the reason why we wanted to case study her is because when we have our own, we're going to talk about something different. We're going to give you behind the brand so you can know how to do this yourself. But right here, we got to talk about the fact, like you said, that could have been a thing that just worked in Atlanta. Who says this is going to work around the world?
Right.
I need to maybe come up with a name that's a little bit more kosher so that it can have more appeal as I'm growing this thing. I want to be able to get inside different stores. I want to attract different investors. So maybe we can kind of taper down. She says, no, I'm pulling up to Detroit. I'm pulling up to this different city. And if they like it, they like it. We're leaning into it. And so she's keeping that same creativity and using the social media to attract all of that kind of stuff. So she didn't compromise off of her. See, compromise when it comes to commerce and creativity, most people think is because I'm going into something derogatory when I was already on something positive.
Right.
But if you were, for her, it's already provocative. So to go from provocative to like something all polished and muted and toned down would be a compromise, because that's not what she was going for. Of course, there is a way to make healthier vegan food. There's plenty of healthy vegan restaurants. That's not what she's going for.
Right. She's
going for people who are vegan, who want to taste for something a little bit healthier. They want some junk food and they don't want to backslide into meat or whatever.
You're right.
And then this is not appealing to people who, because it's the way it is and it's such a fanfare around it, it's not even appealing to people who are vegans.
Right.
This is for people who are not vegans So she has a wider audience now because my niche is vegan food,
Right.
not vegan people.
Right. Ooh, and that's I hope y'all caught it. Where she has this product, and though it's niche, but my target market and my target audience is not even vegan. Though vegan is in the title, Slutty Vegan. So yeah, it might be you have some people that are vegan that have that craving, have that taste. But this is for people that's not, because a lot of her marketing and branding initially was non-vegans trying the burger,
Who just want to try it.
and they was like, oh, this tastes like a burger.
She
This
helped
don't
them.
even taste like, you know what I'm saying?
Her out here evangelizing the people. It's a vegan.
Right.
It's people who were chiefs promoting this to non-vegan. They like, what? That's a vegan burger?
Right.
I'm gonna try it because this is a better introduction into vegan for me to know, okay, even if I did learn how to cook, could I make my stuff tasty?
Right.
So,
Hey.
yeah.
I want to, once we interview, we got to see if that was intentional.
Yeah.
Or if that was something that just kind of came. Because no, that's big. But I understand, understanding that I have a niche, I have a target audience, I have a niche market, and like you said, then even in the name, when you understand branding, you're going to attract who you're supposed to attract, and you're going to repel who you're supposed to repel, right?
Yeah.
Like people that, like you said, people that's turned off by the name, she not worried about them. It's fine because it's not for you.
Because it's not for you.
And she okay with it. It's not for you.
Exactly.
I bet you if somebody came to her and whatever, she'd be like, that's fine. I didn't make it for you.
It's not for you.
It's okay.
It's fine. You don't. If it's not for you, you don't get it.
Yeah. No, that's I need to. Yeah, that's a big one to be able to understand that.
And then as a result, she actually struck some major investments from some of the companies that you guys do know, who are they're American restaurateurs in the fast food world, who do have more kosher brands, who have more, what you may say, family-friendly names, right? Some of them believe in what she's doing, and they like, man, this is where things are going. People are looking to be healthier. People are looking to be, we know that. Even in some of the regular old fast food restaurants, you'll notice they're starting to offer salads. That's what they started with. They started salads. Some of them are trying to offer some kind of plant-based something, and they're like, well, she's already doing it.
Right.
In their mind, this is where we're going. Let's put our investment over there. So she was surprised, like, oh, y'all willing to invest? So she's raised so much funds and so much capital and continuously pushed this, because right now, as of like the last time I checked, like it was like 2023, there was an article that said one of the guys who run it, he says our brand, our goal was to be a household name. But our brand is kind of bigger than the business, because now, because of social media, because of the virality, and because of all the pop-ups around the city, in these different cities, people know of us.
Yeah.
We're our name, the name of the company is in the households, but they can't. It's bigger than the business because he's saying like they can't get the food.
Yeah.
They don't have access to it because we only popped up in Detroit.
Right.
Now there's a ton of people in Detroit who know us, but they really can't get it.
They can't get it.
Then we've popped up in Memphis, we've popped up in Chicago, we've popped up in Charlotte, right? And so now we do have this household name, and we did that concept, but now how do we expand? Are we gonna expand via other brick and mortar locations? Because fast forward to now, I think they had 12 locations.
Yeah, 12 or 11 or something like that.
Somewhere around there, or maybe more at the time. At the time of this video, But that's over 10 brick and mortar locations in some of the major cities, right? So that's a big deal that a creative, someone who just took their cooking skills and their passion for culinary and food and has turned that into a $100 million business. It's a $100 million evaluation on their brand. Now they're having to take another creative approach to commerce, right? They're like, okay, I want to do business, but because some markets may not take well to vegan, they may not be there, right? So it may not be wise to put a brick and mortar there yet.
Right.
Okay. And wise as far as from a company standpoint, or can we really sustain the overhead of that? So, or it may not even be wise to put a food truck there.
Right.
So what they're doing now is they're creating products that can be put inside of Target, right? Target stores, right? Which is an entirely different approach to getting to a market. I don't have to do a pop-up shop. I don't have to do a brick and mortar. I don't have to do any of that. If I get in Target and Target goes to several major and mid-market, however you would call it, different cities and towns, then we're thereby able to reach, even if it's just our seasoning, even if it's our patties, even if it's our something, we're now, that's a creative approach. And so $100 million valuation off of creativity. So don't think that your creativity has to be compromised in order to transact commerce. That's the goal of this episode. We introduce you to LaRussell and to Pinky Cole. If you are not familiar with them, you can look it up to make sure what we're saying is true. But we want to encourage you, stop that. Stop thinking that, man, I got to sell out to sell out. Like, you don't have to sell out. You don't sell out of your creativity. No. You just need to take a creative approach to how you operate business. Be innovative with that. You'll come up with something. I'm telling you, I know you will. I believe in you as creatives. And on that note, thank you for tuning in to this particular episode and investing in yourself to be that kind of creative entrepreneur.
Yes. So what we want you to do now is be a part of this phenomenal community, right? So join the Creative Corners community. If you go to mmcbpodcast.com, that's mmcbpodcast.com. Join the newsletter for the Creative Corner and be a part of the Facebook community to where we're surrounded by other creative entrepreneurs that are on this journey, right? Whether they're looking to start or they've already started and they're looking to scale, they're looking to expand and grow, being part of that so that you can just, you know what I'm saying? You surrounded by that, that's going to help you get to your goals. So do that and do that today.
And listen, you said being a part of the Creatives Corner community, that is that's a derivative of the Minding My Creative Business podcast. It's the community that we created as creative entrepreneurs ourselves who are aspiring creative entrepreneurs. And you said join the Facebook group and the newsletter, but technically the Creatives Corner community is both, right? So when you join the newsletter, you'll get the private exclusive invite to be in the Facebook group. You can't get into the Facebook group. You can't go searching and get in. We're not gonna let you in. You got to come in the right way, right? So I just want you to be a part of it. Thank you again so much. Are we ready to get out of here?
I think we're ready to get out of here.
Okay, we are not getting out of here until I tell you to make sure you go like this video or like the audio wherever you are. Make sure you give us some type of good rating so that we can keep providing more of this if this is it has been or is being helpful to you as you're tuning into these episodes.
Yes.
They got to do that.
They got to definitely do that.
Yeah.
They got to do that. And share it too. Share it with your friends, family. You know, you got a creative in your life. Somebody share it. You know, like I said, we're trying to expand this. Our goal, right? We say we're the #1 podcast for creative entrepreneurs to learn strategy, structure, self-development. That's our goal. So the more creative entrepreneurs that we reach, the better. So don't hog it.
And don't hoard it. Share it.
Share it.
It's good for you. It's good for your business.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get out of here, I also want to give you an opportunity to not just listen, but to also share and to participate. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to say something. I want you to repeat after me. As you say this MMCB podcast mantra, everybody here is going to say it. I want you to say it online. Don't just think it, say it out loud, because words shape worlds. All it takes is intention, consistency, and laser focus to mind my creative business.
Peace.
We out.